Have never been clearer. I see what you're doing to me now. They lie, they steal, they fooled us. Deep down I probably knew this. I think I will be holding on to the one thing that I know is stronger. Love is blind and no one's perfect.
Hey everyone, happy 2024. I am so happy to see everyone this year. We are kicking it off with what's the name of this place? The Healing Factor. You know, that's a shame. I can't even remember my own show right now. But that's Mel. We're going to kick it off like that. And I want to say, I'm glad to be here. This is a beautiful year. And I just want everyone to celebrate your best self this year. Be the best you that you can possibly be. No holds barred whatsoever. And with that being said, I'm bringing on my dear sister, one of my dear sisters that I've known for at least 2 years, at least 21, 22, yep, two and a half years now. And we started in one group and, you know, we verged off, but we all of us still are close knit and we're all over the world, literally. A lot of us in the United States. And her name is Crystal L. Gunn. She is the president, founder, I'm calling it all, founder and CEO of Amazing Woman Network. And this woman, when I say is amazing, she is amazing. You know, you don't know who your mentors are going to be until you actually run into them. You know, every mentor and every coach needs a mentor and a coach. So I've been getting poured into by a lot of different women over this last 2 years. And I mean, they have been on my head, especially this one. I remember that conversation. But she did it with love. She did it with love. I will say that only because, you know, you have to have those people who tell you, this is what I'm going to give you the seeds. It's up to you to plant them.
For sure.
It's not my job to plant them. You need to plant this if you want the harvest. I can't do your work for what it is you're trying to get. So she told me, this is what you need to do and ... bullet points. And I mean, she was like, okay, and I'm not going to contact you. Going to contact me when you're up.
Did I say that? Oh my God.
Kind of, sort of. Not really like that, but basically. But I got it. You know, but you need people like that because I feel like if someone has to sit up and babysit you all the time, then you're not really you're not serious. They shouldn't have to. You should have to at least put some effort towards it. And it took me a minute because I was so much in my head and that's my weakness. So she waited and she didn't say a word. She stood firm on what she said. Oh my God. It was like, she really ain't going to contact me to see if I did it. No. She didn't. And lo and behold, probably about a year later. So I'm just saying, I got it. I did it. I'm so proud of myself. Every time I look at that, I'm like, I did it. Right. It's on my wall and it's sitting there looking at me. And my list is too. So with that being said, I'm bringing you to the floor to Crystal Gunn because I want you, Crystal, to introduce yourself and tell us how we got to you and every other woman embracing her amazing.
Okay, so yep, I am Crystal Gunn. I am a financial strategist, small business strategist. I am a speaker, author, coach. I definitely am an activist. And of course, I am an amazing woman.
Yes, she is.
So I have a couple companies. So an Amazing Woman Network, which was created to unite and empower Black women globally. I have a nonprofit, well, two nonprofits, AWN Cares, which is the physical nonprofit arm of the Amazing Woman Network. in which we do our signature programs of the Red Dot Project, which is about helping to eradicate period poverty, and Curated Conversations, which is really a wellness experience for women. And it's an event where they come and we celebrate them because we just don't celebrate ourselves enough.
Mm.
Then there is United Community Solutions, which is my community economic development nonprofit. And when I say community economic development, it's about the individual, the family, the business, and the community in whole. And so I'm all things financial education. And then I have the podcast, Amazing Women Speak, which again is a celebration of Black women. And we try to bring conversations to uplift and inspire every Black woman to own, honor, and execute her amazing, right? So everything that I do falls under the pillars of reclaiming personal power, mind, body, and spirit, reclaiming financial power, and increasing our social environment, and striving and helping to make, or to really to help women to understand exactly how amazing they are. Doesn't have anything to do with their bank account, their titles, and however many businesses they own. It's really and truly about how they show up every single day, unapologetically as themselves.
I love that. I love that. And I was on that show. And let me say to all the audience, if you have not seen one of these podcasts, they can get deep.
They can get deep. But you know what? They're authentic conversations. Hats off to my best friend who really curates the conversations on there. I tee it up with topics. And the interesting thing is I always have guests come on, but I have them pick their topics. I want them to pick the topic that speaks to their soul. And that, I think, is really what makes the conversation so great. So anybody can go back and check out any of the past episodes on amazingwomenspeak.tv. It's on, all of the episodes are on YouTube. Just search for Amazing Women Speak for that one. Bless your soul. There will be episodes that will speak to you.
Yes, I agree with that. There was one before the last year. It was like the second to the last, I believe. And there was not a dry eye in the house. I'm serious. I was sitting there like, oh my God.
Yeah, we have our moments. We definitely have the moments, but the feedback is always really, really good. And I think that the listeners walk away with something from every episode because they can see a part of themselves in those women who are on the show. And that was like really, that was the goal. It was like, how do we bring people on who have experienced this thing and come through whatever this thing is, this topic that speaks to their soul. And so it's someone always can relate. So I think we're doing what we started out to do.
I think it's wonderful.
Thank you.
Can you tell me what got you started into the different areas that you're in to bring it all together?
Absolutely. So going through my own journey in life, right? Everything was good. Vice president of a credit union, quit that, started a mortgage company with my husband. I was married at that time. And 5 years into that marriage, we got divorced, had a daughter. So no, 4 years, because we divorced when my daughter was 4 going on 5. And still did the mortgage company. I was the broker of record and did a couple businesses after that. And life happened. Financially, it was a financial storm that I found myself in, right? And it wasn't one specific thing. So it wasn't because of the divorce, because this happened several years after the divorce. It wasn't after the mortgage industry. I mean, it was several years after the mortgage industry crashed. So, but it wasn't one specific thing, but it was just life, right? And that's what happens. But I didn't know in that moment how to get out of it or why I had to go through it. And there was, the depression that came along with it. It was the filing bankruptcy. And it was crazy because this was like 18 years ago. And bankruptcies were like $500 at that point. I literally had to save up to get that, you know what I mean? To get that money to file bankruptcy. And going through depression and not even knowing that I was depressed, right? And if anybody's ever heard me tell this story, I was out to dinner with someone and full pity party mode, woe is me, all of that sort of thing. And I got through with this story and he looked me dead in my eye and he said, Crystal, your story's not special.
Wow.
That's what I did, right? I did the exact same thing. But he went on to say, and I tell this story all the time because it really impacts everybody. And it was a turning point in my life. He said, you have to understand everybody is either going through something, about to go through something, or just came out of something, right? And he said, that's not the thing that defines you. You got knocked down. He said, that's not what defines you. What defines you is what you do now. And I was like, okay, well, I hear you, but that's the problem. I don't know what to do now. And he said, I'll tell you. He said, you go home. He said, you cry tonight. I get it. You going through this thing. And this is somebody who was successful, a very successful businessman, but came from like nothing, like came from growing up squatting, his family squatting in a house. And so he said, you go home tonight. And he said, you cry if you need to cry. I get it. It's tough. He said, but don't ever again cry over money after this. He said, and in the morning, he said, you have a praise fest. He said, you praise God for everything he's done for you and everything he's about to do for you. And you ask God, what is it that you are supposed to do? I said, okay, bet. So I go home. I was like, I'm done crying. I can't cry no more. And I went into that motion, that whole praise fest. And I said, okay, God, this is not what my life is supposed to look like. This is not what I am accustomed to. Show me what I'm supposed to be doing in my life. Use me as you see fit. Right. And you definitely have to be ready. But it was instantaneously the download started to come. And that first download was create this journal, 365 days of inspirational song lyrics, quotes, and scripture. And it was literally going through that got me out of that depression. Wow. And then it was like, okay, so you're supposed to unite and empower Black women globally. And I was like, how am I supposed to do that? I was like, my life right now is a wreck. And I went back and I said that to that same friend. And he said, Crystal, walk your journey. You'd be surprised at who you inspire. And no truer words have ever been spoken. And so that's how the Amazing Woman Network was created. And then all of the other things. But I realized looking back, because you don't know it going through it, I had to go through that journey. I wasn't accustomed to losing or to loss or to not having. So I had to go through that in order to be able to empathize with other people and to understand. But part of it also was making me and preparing me for all that I do right now and that I've done for the last 12 years. And part of that, I had to go through my own storm, figure out how to get out of it so that I could go back into the storm and help people come through it. Yeah.
And that's something, you know what? I just love to hear this story because I know a lot of people who have, including myself, that probably have watched your podcast, different segments. And sometimes you kind of wonder, okay, so what's the backstory?
There's a backstory.
You really want to know the backstory. Like everyone's coming from something. I've told my story. You've heard my story. So I feel like I'm still kind of on the tail end of it, but I'm still pushing through it. I feel good about it. And I understand exactly what you're saying because you can't really help someone else until you understand what they've been through or what, you can even have a bird's eye view into it. So, for me going into my coaching, I'm like, yeah. For me to sit up and say, I understand, you really have to understand. You can take a class in psychology or whatever and whatnot and get a degree in whatever. But if you have never walked that, you still aren't able to really feel or understand what that person has gone through just because you have textbook knowledge. And I think that's what a lot of people are looking for. They're looking for the realness in it all, so.
The textbook knowledge, the textbook knowledge is good. It is good. But it also, I think the textbook knowledge is fantastic. Like we need that as well. But I think the real life experience of having walked in someone's shoes, our our reasons for it, in my case, when I look at the financial piece and empowering somebody, my story may not be identical to yours,
Mm-hmm.
but because I have a story similar to yours,
Mm-hmm.
like someone who's never known what it's like to be the only person who is in the house bringing in income can't
Mm-hmm.
really understand what that's like, right?
Right.
Be that person who I'm going through this and I can't do the things that I think I need to be doing for my daughter, and I specify and highlight that piece because all she wanted to do when she was 4, 5, and 6 was dance and perform for me at night before bedtime, and I'm like, well, we can't go to here, there, and the other. So I think there's a level of understanding what that's like because you've been through there,
Mm-hmm.
where is an extra layer on top of the formal education that you've received doing
Mm-hmm.
the thing.
I would say that's correct. I would
Yeah.
say that's correct.
I don't want the people who ain't got those degrees and that to
You feel bad? You know
come
what?
at you.
Let
Right. Like, let's be clear. That's important. Yeah, that's important too.
let me recant that. Yes, definitely the education is important. So I guess I should have kind of like reworded that. But there are some people I've truly that may be out there that feel like they have the education but without the experience. So the two they do go, and actually it would be better if they did, if you did have it, you kind of think that most people sometimes may take those careers on because they understand and they've been through it in life. So they say, okay, my mom died of cancer or whatever and whatnot. So I decided I wanted to be a doctor or something in those areas regarding that,
Correct. Something
because
that triggered that journey in their life, absolutely, on how they can have an impact based on a thing just like me. How can I have an impact based on this journey that I had to travel? And we all have a story. And I think when a lot of times we, it's the what happens in this house stays in this house thing, right? And people don't want to talk about a thing. But I think when you decide to share your story for empowering someone else, right? I think that's a brave move. And going back to understanding we're all going through something, been through something, about to go through something. So to be able to share your story and to let someone else who might be in the midst of that see that, okay, wow, this person made it out. That means there's hope for me.
exactly.
And that I think is huge.
Yes. So how do you, because the one question in my head, I always wonder, how do you get the speakers to come forth, especially women? Because just in my experience alone, that seems to be one of the toughest areas to get women to speak up and speak out. Now you have been getting some women who have been, I'm going to go and blah, you know what I mean? They just tell it and they're just real. And I love it about that. So, I'm like pulling teeth, like, okay, I'm into the point. Don't make me call you out. I'm gonna call you out. I'm like, I shouldn't do that because some people aren't ready, and I get that. And they're like behind the scenes, like looking to see, is it okay? But then I'm the type of person, I know me, and I need to work on patience. I admit that. I'll get to a point after 6 months. Okay, I'm done with y'all. I ain't got time. Let me go somewhere else and see who wants to talk.
So yeah. So I don't. You know what? I can't. I would love to say that there's a secret sauce, right? Or that I've done something miraculous. I think, and this is for me, right? I think someone once said to me, Crystal, you are consistent in who you are, how you are, and what you do. And they know that it's about empowering other things. And you never know who's watching. And so I literally will make a list of people that I want on the show, right? And I send them here's the dates and here's the topics. Choose what speaks to your soul. And not everybody who comes on the show has ever seen the show, right? Okay. And so I think part of it is I'm going to say the God in me. I'm not going to say it's me. I'm going to say it's a God in me, because I had somebody one day say they were at my house, and this was for something that I was doing, and this was the first time that I had ever met them. They were referred to me through someone else,
Mm-hmm.
and she was sitting on the couch, and she just started telling me all of this stuff. And at one point, she was like, "Wait a minute, I don't even know you. Why am I telling you all of this stuff?" And I think it's because they could see that spirit in me, that it's a safe space. That if you tell me something, I'm not telling. I'm not sharing your story. I'm not sharing that thing. And I think people just know in general, I
Mm-hmm.
want everybody to win. So if you know that, and anybody that's been in a space, you can't come talk to me negatively about somebody else, because I'm going to stop you on that. That's not what we do. And so I think there's a lot of that comes into because it always, I don't know, it shocks me sometimes when people say, "Oh my God, I'm honored that you would ask me." And I'm like, huh, I'm honored that you would even consider being on the show. And there's only ever been one person who declined because they had a serious illness and had not spoken about it publicly yet. And that was the show. And they
Mm-hmm.
were like, I have not spoken publicly about this, and I don't want to do it. I mean, I understand that. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, it's I also think that it's because I'm doing the thing that I'm supposed to do, right? I believe that if something has to be pushed and forced and pulled,
Mm-hmm.
that ain't the thing. I'm not supposed to do that thing. So I look at what happens in my life that happens with ease, because then I know I'm walking in my purpose. But in my purpose, I might think that I'm supposed to do this thing over here when really I'm supposed to do that thing over there, because I get all of these downloads. You got to do all of this. So yeah, I think it's me walking in that purpose, being obedient, because that is the number one thing, being obedient in that. And then just as people know what I represent,
Mm-hmm.
I think they're like, okay. Now, it's always an organic conversation. My best friend who hosts the show with me is a master at curating those conversations, right?
Hands down. I already know. Because I sit up and watch and listen to him like, I need to write that question down, because she said it so eloquently. It's like, good Lord, she's really, and I mean, it just rolls off her tongue, but it flows. I
She's
love that
a
about her.
master. And I think people winds up being comfortable
Mm-hmm.
with it, because you can, and I tell people in the beginning, you can share as much or as little as you want
Mm-hmm.
um, of your story. Because again, we all have a story. You get to decide how much of that you want to share. Because if you share 20% of it, as opposed to all of it, that
Mm-hmm.
20% is going to bless somebody.
True. True.
Right. So
True.
yeah, I think it's the whole mixture of things, and it works, and it's working, and I'm forever grateful.
It's very thought provoking. I mean, some of the questions that she hit me with, I think, after the segment was over, I was going, did I answer that right? Oh my God. Wait a minute. Let me think about that again. Let me replay that thing again. Let me see. Melvina, did what was that?
Which means we're doing what we're supposed to do,
Yes.
right? Because if you get off the show and you're still thinking about your life and next steps and all of that, then we're helping and we're assisting you in owning, honoring, and operating in your amazing. And that's the goal.
Good deal. So tell us about the financial piece of it, because I know you are I don't even know how to explain it, because the simple fact is I was at the one point when I spoke to you off, it was before the segment, I believe. And you were just like, okay, this is what you start right here. And it wasn't even touching finances at all. It was just about write the vision and make it plain, basically. So then you jump off into the financial piece, which is what that's gearing towards. So how can you make the connection with that?
Well, it's never just about the numbers. It's not
Okay.
just about the numbers, right? And so
Mhm.
with my personal clients, with workshops that I do, products that I create, it's never about the numbers. The numbers are only a part of it. Most people don't understand why they operate the way that they operate. right? So it's what we inherited generationally, and I'm not talking about assets. So it's what we inherited generationally. It's what we saw as a child. It's what we were taught, what we weren't taught, what we overheard, right,
Mhm.
as a child, and then everything that has happened up to today in your life, from social media, from relationships, to all of those things weigh on how you operate financially. Everyone has a financial relationship. Most financial relationships were not created by you. All of those other things created that financial relationship. So we can talk about the numbers, right? But if you don't know why you operate the way that you operate,
Which makes sense.
we can't fix that part. We can't heal that part, right? And I have a client. She's still a client, but one of the she had these 5 or 6 credit cards that were all maxed out for the second time, right?
Mhm.
And so we're having this conversation, and she says, "Well, yeah." She was trying to plan a family trip, and she said she had asked her mom, and her mom said, "Well, I can't go because my credit cards are maxed out." And I said, "Your mom's credit cards are maxed out? Tell me a little bit more about that." And
Mhm.
she said, "Yeah, my mom's credit cards are always maxed out." I
Mm.
said, "And your credit cards are maxed out again for the second time." I said, "You associate credit cards with them being maxed out because that's what you heard all of your life from your mother.
Mm.
You've picked up that habit, not even knowing how you got to that habit." And then when she wound up paying some of them off, she was like, "Oh my God, I have available, limits on my credit cards." And I was like, "Put them in the drawer. You can't go back to doing that. We have to finish the thing." So
Mhm.
it's never just about the numbers. I'm never going to say that the numbers are easy, but you got to figure out why you operate the way that you operate. The second thing is, how do you
Mhm.
want to spend the rest of your life?
That's a deep question. I
It
like
is.
that.
And most people don't have an answer.
Mm.
So when we start to build an efficient and effective budget, we can't, because you don't even know how you want to live the rest of your life. So that
Mm.
budget is not just about tracking expenses, it's about being intentional with your money so that you can live the life you desire and not the one that you get just after paying bills.
Mm.
So all of it goes hand in hand. And when you get hold to your finances,
Mhm.
every area of your life starts to change.
I would agree. It does. And that's a hard place for a lot of us to, I'm raising my hand to get to. There was a segment probably a couple months ago, I think, that you did, and it was about some of the things you needed to do financially. Look at those receipts. What are you spending weekly? What are you spending daily? What can you pull away from? And
Mhm.
I actually took that to heart, and I'm like, well, heck, I don't do as much as everybody else is doing, but I'm still, within the space that
But
I'm in.
it's your thing,
Yeah.
right? Like I always say it's not, finances are not cookie cutter. Despite what you see where they tell you, oh, this percent should go towards housing, this percent should go towards, you know,
Mhm.
entertainment, that's not cookie. You can have two people that both make $100,000, and their percentages are going to be different based on what's happening in their lives. So nothing is cookie cutter. So we cannot compare ourselves to anybody else.
True.
You got to
True.
look at you. And I'm a firm believer, you don't give up the things. Like, I don't, but it's for you to decide, okay, wow, I spend way too much money here. You know what I
Mhm.
mean?
Mhm.
Going out to eat for lunch
Mhm.
every day, or stopping at Tim Hortons or Starbucks or whatever the thing is. It's for you to figure out and decide, okay, you know what? And then I say, don't try to just say, I'm not going to do it. Just cut back and reallocate that money to something else.
Which makes a lot of sense.
Right?
Mhm.
Because we're supposed to enjoy life. And so if I want to go out to eat to lunch because that's something that brings me joy, well, how about instead of 5 days, you do it 3? Because the thing that happens is
Mhm.
there's going to be a psychological shift. When
Okay.
you start to see certain things happening, right, as a result of the little things that you update,
Mhm.
there's that shift that says, okay, well, I cut it back, and I was only, and I went from 5 days going out to lunch to 3 days. and I reallocated that other money to something else. Okay, well, now I'm cutting it back to 2 days because I see what's happening. And so your mindset starts to shift. And it's a process. You're not, because however old you are, you've been doing this thing
for just that long.
So it's not going to change overnight, but
Just
it's a mindset shift that has to happen.
I like that. It's just like losing weight and anything else that goes on. You know, it took you a minute to get to that weight. So it's going to take you just much time to get back to the weight that you want to get to.
And you have to learn, just using that example, if it's, I need to lose 50 pounds, right? Yeah, you can go on this crash diet and lose 50 pounds in, whatever, short amount of time. But the moment you go back to your old habits, you don't put the weight back on because you never learned how to maintain it. So going through and setting up that budget and being intentional with it and learning the things, you then learn how to maintain it. So now this is the budget you have. Well, let's say you get a raise and now you got more money. Well, now you know how to allocate that money to something, or you've paid off some debt. Okay, well, I paid my car off. My car note was, $600 or $500. Well, now I'm not going to just spend that money. I'm going to reallocate that money somewhere else to have bigger impact. So, yeah.
I love it. I love it because I'm taking notes. I am in my head. I'm like, I hear what you're saying. So I got this recorded and I'm going to come back and play this. Okay, let me write this down now.
Absolutely.
This is how I know how to get you, a meeting with you without having a meeting with you.
Absolutely. I always say, this is free. This is free coaching. This is free. Yeah.
I'm literally a gleaner I will glean until I can't glean no more. I'm that person where I'm trying to figure out how to do something. But, and the hardest thing for a lot of people is, I think, that, say, for instance, you have a person who's sponsored on one of the social medias and they say, I have this program that's good for you and it's free, but then they'll give you the little glitch. Okay, this is going to cost you blah, blah, blah after you do, the whole process. But I think a lot of people, and I've been through this myself, where you see this and you really want to do it. You really want to figure out what it is you need to do to get to the point so you can be successful or financial free in life. And you jump into this program, then all of a sudden there's a finances that you don't have to do it. And then now there's that mindset that it's put out there sometimes, but not a lot of times, from the people who are having the program. Okay, you're just not ready. And it comes across in a negative connotation. You know what I'm saying? And it makes them feel like they're less than, or they're not capable of. So they kind of brush it to the side. They don't even think about what they can do to obtain that, save money or put anything to the side, and then they just forget about it and they jump on the next bandwagon, which has been a cycle. And I can account, I've done that myself, but now I've gotten better at, I know what I'm supposed to do. So this bandwagon thing of jumping here to there, okay, that sounds good. Okay, this sounds good. It doesn't work. It just puts me back at square one again. This is where you're supposed to go. So what do you need to do, Melvina, to stick to this? It makes me accountable to myself to look at those things, really take a step back and say, just sit still for a minute. Sit still, get quiet, get off the merry-go-round, quit chasing everyone else, what they're doing or what looks good to them. Okay, you're not included because you don't, you're on a different path probably. Accept that and be okay with it and have peace and know that whatever's coming to you is supposed to come to you, but you got to give it time to even the seed to be planted, and the finances, when they do get here, this is some of the things that you haven't been looking at. You do need to pull it in and get your finances together. These are the hard lessons that we're some of us are in a circle in. I'm getting, like I said, I'm getting better. I'm claiming that.
So there's a couple things that I'll say to that. The first thing is, and again, I'm usually talking from a financial empowerment standpoint, but empowering people is what I do. I think the forefront is financial, but people talk to me about things that don't have anything to do with finances. And it's like, oh my God, 30 minutes with Crystal will change your life. Absolutely. But one thing that I always say is you have to give yourself some grace. That's first, right? We don't know what we don't know. And we know I need to change this. And you can fill in the blank with whatever this is.
Mhm.
So you're looking for something. So the thing that you're seeking is seeking you as well, right?
Mhm.
However, we live in a society, in a microwave society, where we want instant gratification, right? We want it to happen and we want it to happen now. So I buy this thing, or I do this thing, or I buy this. And if it doesn't start to show, or if it doesn't fix my stuff in these 3 to 5 minutes that the microwave would warm up my food, right?
Mhm.
I'm either saying that it doesn't work, or so you have to go back and you have to commit to doing a thing. And commitment is hard. And I don't care in what area, commitment is hard.
Mhm.
But so it's I saw something last night and I said, oh, I'm everybody's hearing this at every one of my workshops, every one of my, right? Because at the end of the day, a good friend of mine once said, you show up to everything that happens in your life. Meaning, right? You have a say in everything that happens in your life.
Right.
But this guy last night said, the situation that you're in because it's okay with you.
Mm.
And he said, if your hair caught on fire, there was nothing that could stop you from trying to put that fire out. So whatever situation you're in, whatever you're allowing to stop you from changing the situation that you want to change,
Mm.
right? You are in that situation because you are okay. It's okay to you to be exactly where you are. And when it's not, nothing will stop you from doing the things that you need to do. So it's the old saying of when you're sick and tired of being sick and tired.
Mhm.
The one word of advice that I can say is don't try to figure it out yourself. Be it weight and nutrition, be it exercise, be it finances, be it, business coaching, whatever it is. I am a firm believer. You go to the doctor, you go to the dentist, you go to the mechanic.
Mhm.
Why do you not do those same things in your life? You are worth the investment. You're going to say, I can't do. Listen, if you don't have money to pay a coach, if you don't have money to work with me financially, you need to find it and get it, because it's a problem that you don't have the money
Mhm. Mhm.
and you haven't been able to figure it out. I have had people say, well, let me fix some things. And I tell them, no, you can't fix the thing, because if you had fixed the thing, if you knew how to fix the thing, you would have fixed the thing already. But you have to give yourself some grace, because most of it is not your fault that you don't know the thing.
Mm.
It's not taught to us, and that's by design. So
Mhm.
it's up to you to say, I don't know the thing. The flip side of that coin is, oh, well, I make good money, or I can pay my bills on time. So you don't think that you need
Mm.
somebody when you do, because there's still something that you don't know. And even if you say, you know what, I'm going to go and I'm going to meet with you because I want to confirm that I know the things and that I'm on the right track, right?
Okay. Mhm.
Or I'm going to go and find out what I don't know. Realtors, doctors, all of those, they do continuing education. Why do we think with our finances we don't need continuing education?
Wow. Yeah, I do, because I know I do.
So it's just all of those things. And it's like, but give yourself some grace and mercy. And then whatever the issue is, and when you have things going on, like what's happening in the world today. So the people who are saying, no, I make really good money and I can pay my bills with ease and I still have money left over. You
Mhm.
do. But here's the problem, because everything is 17 times more than it was a year ago.
Exactly.
If you were saving, you're not saving the same amount.
Right.
You're not saving the same amount. And the study shows that most people are spending all of their savings in like 4 to 5 years. So you've been saving really good for 4 to 5 years, something happens, and then you wind up depleting it all the way, or a large portion of it. So you never really realize
Mm.
what you were trying to do in the first place. So that's where that coaching piece comes from. And again, and that's in every area of your life. You're worth it. And that's what I always say. Don't you think you're worth it? Don't you think you're worth it
Mhm.
to be able to be financially, you know, independent? And independent doesn't mean that you don't need to earn a revenue, but don't you need a great financial relationship? Don't you want to live the life that you want to live? Let somebody help you.
Hand raised. Look, I've been in one coaching class. Now, look, while we talk about finances, now when I get done taking care of that one, I'm coming to you. I ain't playing. You think I'm playing? You still on
And
shit.
we do a lot of financial therapy because, again, we don't know why we operate the way that we operate.
I would also account that too, just like you said earlier. But I always call it knowing who you are, what you came from. It all, that's it, it all plays a part in everything. Like you said earlier, it just makes sense. You didn't start that way. You didn't come into the world saying, I'm just gonna be, I'm just gonna mess up my finances. And then, no one comes into the world saying they're gonna be what they're gonna be automatically. Things just happen and it becomes
Right.
a habit, and so
And most people are living in survival mode.
definitely.
So if you're living in survival mode, the state of living in survival mode cuts off. It's that same fight or flight phenomenon, right?
Mhm.
Cuts off access to the cortex part of your brain, which is where creativity and rational thought is housed.
Mhm.
So if you are living in survival mode, not survival strategies, but you're living in survival mode, you're cutting off a very important part of, you don't even know how to figure out how to get out of it. You don't even, whatever the situation, whatever it is, you don't even know how to figure out how to get out of it. So you need help.
I love it.
Yeah.
I could talk to you forever, child. I'm just saying. But I want to let everyone know where and I put some stuff out here, and I'm trying to find out where I put it because I can't find it now. But
That's funny. Crystalgun.com. Let's make it real easy.
real easy.
Yep.
Crystal,
Crystalgun.com. You can go, you can find out all of the things that I do, like all of the different areas. Go because you may find something that you want to support. You might not need the financial coaching. And I'm going to say need, right? But you may look at something else that I'm doing and saying, oh, you know what? I really want to support her in this Red Dot project to eradicate period poverty. So you may go to that. There's a couple things that I'm doing because I like to try to impact as many people as I can. So houseinorder.info is like a hub for me of where you can go find a lot of information from wills, powers of attorney, all kind of things. Go to houseinorder.info. People need to get
info. Okay.
to get their house in order. And then Monday, I am starting something called Office Hours with Crystal Gunn, and it's financial strategy and small business mastery. And it's 12 o'clock Eastern Standard Time on my YouTube channel. You can go to crystalgun.pro and it'll send you over there. And it's 30 minutes of just me giving some sort of training. You're not going to know what the training is until you show up, right? So 30 minutes. And then there's a 30-minute online private Q&A where you can come and ask me any question that you want. It doesn't even have to be the topic for the day. It can be whatever you want to, you have a question about, because there is an urgency. Like who was it, Chicken Little that always said the sky is falling, the sky is falling?
Yeah.
Okay, the sky is falling, right? The sky is falling. And I don't like to sound like Chicken Little, but there is an urgency for people to get their finances in order. Over 75% of the people in the US are living paycheck to paycheck. We collectively have over $1 trillion in credit card debt. Right? That means people are not using their credit cards effectively, but they're not using them effectively because inflation has made everything. People are using their credit cards to, right? So now more than ever, that efficient and effective budget is important. But there's also other things. We don't have enough life insurance. We don't have wills. Everybody has an estate. Just in case you didn't know, everybody has an estate.
Mhm.
Some people have children that are special needs that will need care for the rest of their lives. Well, you need a trust and all of that put in play for that. People don't have powers of attorney. You don't know how many times I get a call that someone needs a power of attorney done, but the person is in the hospital and can't sign.
Mm.
So let's get the stuff done. So houseandorder.info does that. And then again, I'll do a whole bunch of training at crystalgunn.pro. 12 o'clock on YouTube, Monday through Thursday, with
Okay.
the 30-minute free Q&A afterwards, because it's what I'm supposed to do. How do I impact the people? You got to come get the information that was out there.
That's it. That's it, and that's all. I saw that little. I said, "She doing something new now." Here she go. I'm like, but that's okay though, because you know what? I swear, I'm not even complaining. It empowers me to be better. And
And it's not something new. It's just a way to reach more people, because I only can do so much personal one-on-one coaching, because there's only so many hours in a day, right? And yeah, I do a bunch of free workshops through my nonprofit, but that's only locally. Like, how do I touch the masses that aren't here with me? You know, as my BFF says, you impact people that have never been in the room with you. Yeah, because that's what I'm supposed to do. So all of it falls under those pillars. And yeah, sit with me. The conversation is definitely different.
I will agree to that. I will agree and attest to that. And I say that with the best of intentions, seriously though, because I feel like if you're gonna get anything from anyone, any positive information, you should get it from someone who's gonna give you the information, have you do the work, not babysit you, because at the end of the day, it's your life.
It's your life.
It's your life, you're responsible for it. But if they're taking the time out, you should respect that. And they're not going to coach. I would have any respect for anyone that can give me anything straight up, no chaser, love you in the midst of it, and send you on your way.
Yeah.
So
And, I have a double bottom line philosophy in life: make a profit and make a difference. Everything that I do has to make a difference. Everything's not going to make a profit because it's not designed to. Everything must make a difference though. And so that formula works. And yeah, I'm going to make a profit and I'm going to make a difference.
And it's going to go to who it's supposed to go to at the particular time.
And again, everything isn't that I do isn't designed to make a profit, but everything is designed to make a difference.
I like that. I love that. Well, you know what? I enjoyed this. I so enjoyed this. My God. I'm like, when you inbox me, I was like, really? For real? Okay. Yes.
Like, yeah, let's talk about it. Anytime I can, people can hear and can be inspired, empowered, whatever it is. I'm down. Like, yeah, okay. I think that's, again, God, use me as you see fit. What I'm gonna do? Say no, I'm not gonna do that.
Right. Exactly. Like, no, because it's gonna chase you down anyway.
Yeah, what I'm gonna do? Say no. And so, I always tell people, you may want to write stuff down and record it when you're talking to me, because some stuff is coming from me and some stuff is coming through me. But that's me agreeing to and allowing myself to be a vessel for healing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And sometimes the healing is not going to feel good, but it's in the end, it's going to be good for you.
Yeah. And I'm definitely going to always tell you the truth. Like, I'm going to tell you the truth, but it's always coming from a place of love. It's never coming from a place of judgment, because, right, like, who am I to judge, right? It's always coming from a place of love. And because I have been, I always say, blessed with some gifts and some talents that allow me to see things that you can't see or that others can't see. And I'm like, okay, well, how about this? And then it's, it's dead on. So I'm just walking in my purpose, and it's a wonderful thing.
I embrace it. And I love it. Are there any final words that you want to share with everyone before we end the segment?
Something that I repeated earlier: give yourself some grace. Right? That same grace that you extend to everybody else. Give yourself some grace. The second thing is, it's time for you to put you first.
Amen.
And the third thing is that you're worthy, right? You're worthy to have, my best friend always says it's not either or, it's it's like and, it's, you know, it's never either or, it's both and. And
Mhm.
so you can live the life that you want and be financially, you know, and have a great financial relationship, but you have to decide that you're worthy. You're worthy to have optimal health. You're worthy to have great finances. You're worthy to have that love that you want,
Mhm.
right? And so everybody is in this life for healing, and everybody's healing looks different.
Mhm.
You have to take control of your healing. And
That-
until you do, you're going to continue the lessons, the circles, the thing, right? Over and over again. So when you're sick and tired of being sick and tired,
You will do something.
and realize that you're worthy. And that's just the biggest piece. You're worthy. Yeah.
I love it. I love it. And I want to say thank you for coming on to the Healing Factor. I'm really praying, and I'm pretty sure it is, that a lot of people that are quote unquote, they don't say anything, but I know for a fact that they're taking this. We have some viewers on here. I see Deborah and I see Therese Teasley. You know, those are our sisters. So I really appreciate them being on and supporting. Um, Crystal, this has been amazing. This has been beautiful. And I am so honored and blessed to have had you on the show supporting as well. But also, you know me, I'm also that one that wants to support everyone and put their information out there as well. So it's not just for me, it's for everybody. Everyone gets blessed in all this, you know. So if you need financial help, if you need those things that she spoke about in the segment, please
Y'all better get
contact her.
with me. Y'all better get with me.
Yeah, tell her, get with her. I'm telling you, she only had 30-minute conversation with me, and I was driving home from work, and she just told me bullet point: do this, do this, do this, and this. And when you get done, call me. Okay. When I tell you I got off the phone, I was like, oh Lord. But it took me a minute to do it. I felt better once I did it because I couldn't get out of my head with the whole situation. Get with her. It is a blessing.
That's the reason why people need coaches. And again, I don't care what area of your life it is. If it ain't me, it need to be somebody. You know, that coaching for health, that coaching for, because that coach is also an accountability partner with you. And it's
Mhm.
good to have accountability partners, but that coach is going to direct you, guide you. That coach is going to check you, tell you when you tripping right now.
Mhm.
Right? That coach is going to tell you
Mhm.
that. And with me, it always comes from a place of love. So, yeah, call me.
I get call her.
Hmm.
Crystal, www.crystalgun.com with two N's.
Correct. That's just the easiest way to find me.
Mhm.
Absolutely. And then again, the free resources, houseinorder.info and crystalgun.pro for the free training Monday through Thursday. Free, y'all.
What can you ask for? Can't
Catch it
ask for.
live or go back and watch the replay, but get on that private Q&A online after it too. So yeah.
Okay. Deborah said she did the same thing. She does the same thing to me all the time.
I do.
She said you are the goat of success. She said she's sending you love. She said she loves you.
I love you right back. Yeah, yeah.
I don't know what Deborah playing. See, she I'm gonna leave Deborah alone because see, she gonna be on here too. She just don't, yeah.
Yeah, she is dynamic. So
She's,
that she is absolutely,
I
Deborah is
call her
dynamic.
Jamaican.
That's one of my accountability calls every week is with Deborah. So
See?
we keep each other in line.
That's
And you need
good.
it. We're better together. We are not supposed to be alone. We are
Woo.
better together. So we need that community. And when women come together, we rise more rapid,
Mhm.
and we definitely we benefit from it. We grow, we're empowered, we're inspired, we move. So yeah.
I love it. Hey, okay, so Deborah, you on next. That's all I got to say. We need to find a schedule for you, baby. See, I call Deborah my Jamaican sister. She got 12 jobs.
I feel her. Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
Deborah said, I'm running this business, I got this business. I'm like, both of y'all running neck and neck. I'm just saying, but you know what? It's all good because it keeps me in line. The fact that I may be quiet in the background, but I'm taking notes seriously because
Oh, you're doing
I'm
your
like,
thing. Yeah.
I am.
But that goes back to what my friend told me all those years ago. Walk your journey, you'd be surprised at who you inspire. I have people that motivate me, move me, and that I watch and that inspire me that I don't work with personally.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, you know, I'm like, okay, they my coach and they don't even know me, but you know what I mean?
That's exactly how I feel.
But
I'm taking
yeah.
notes. I don't care what you say. Oh, what did she say? Wait a minute. Let me write that down.
Yeah.
So
So
yeah,
the goal is to just not to try to walk this life, this journey alone.
it's too hard.
Yeah.
It's way too
Oh,
hard.
and we make it harder than it should be. We should be living life that saying, you know, living your best life. Well, how you gonna do that if you're not getting help with you know from somebody who can help you do that?
Especially if you don't know the knowledge. You know we never know everything.
And it's okay to not know a thing.
Mhm. It is. It is. Took me a long
What's
time.
not okay though is to not go to find it out.
That part.
That's not okay.
Mhm.
Yeah. So yeah, I thank you.
It's been wonderful. Yay!
I thank you. I look forward to
Many more.
absolutely.
You know, my head is always spinning. I'm always coming up with something.
Just write it down. That's my only thing. You will the preview will come, right? The preview always shows up. Doesn't mean you're supposed to do the thing now,
Right.
but write it down so that when the time and the opportunity presents itself, and then you're like, oh wait, there's so many. I have notebooks full of stuff, and then I'll come back. That's why I always say I don't take credit for anything that I do. I'm just walking my life, and if a download comes about something, I'll go and I'll do and I'll write it down in that moment, and I can go back and look at things now and be like, okay, I need to do, and I'll go back and it's already written because when the download came a year ago, 3 years ago, 6 years ago, right? I am kicking off a program. I kicked it off in fourth quarter of last year for a program that I wrote in 2014,
Wow.
right? Because that's when the download came, but it was a preview, just like in the movies. So yeah, just write them down because if you try to do everything, you'll get overwhelmed and then you get nothing done and you have no impact. But understanding that everything isn't meant for you today, some things are a preview showing you what it's supposed to be. And then now we can align, spirit, universe can align the people to come and play and the timing for it to happen.
Which is exactly what you told me in our meeting.
Mm-hmm.
So, yep. And I wrote it down. Everything is all in divine order. And I believe that.
And nothing happens until the exact moment it's supposed to happen.
Mm-hmm. Hey, I love it. I love it. I love it. And we hold on to that.
Yes.
And I thank you all viewers who see this. Again, please contact her, crystalgunn.com. I'm not playing. And also, if you want to contact me if you want to come on the Healing Factor, you want to tell your story, I will share your story with the world. Contact me at Coach Reverend Melvina Ford.com. On Facebook, you'll catch me on YouTube. Hear the Healing Factor. I will share your story and help you help someone else. This is what we do hand in hand together.
And sharing your story helps you in your healing process.
Mm-hmm. It does.
Oh, yeah.
It
Share
does.
your story. It's powerful.
It's powerful. It's time to come out of, if you know you've had that pull in your gut to talk, but you're worried about what everyone else says, don't worry about what everyone else says because that pull is for a reason. It's time for you to step up.
They're going to say something anyway, so don't nobody care. Talk about me if you want to. I don't care.
Right. I got to that point where I just said, I forget it. Whatever.
Whether you tell your story or not, they still going to talk and say what they're going to say. Mm-hmm. You can't worry about that.
You cannot. You cannot. So please find us, catch us, commit with us. We got you hand in hand. We love you. And with that, I'm going to sign out. We're going to call it a day. Hold on. Let me sign us out. Okay. Here we go.